There is a whole swath of people that are underrepresented in horror movies or die very quickly, filmmaker Leigh Janiak told IndieWire. They take center stage in her trilogy. Editor's note: the following post contains light spoilers for Fear Street Part 1 to 1994. Romances tend to not last too long in slasher films. There is, after all, a reason why the most consistent survival trope in horror films is the final girl, not the final couple. But it doesn't have to be that way. Filmmaker Leigh Janiak gets that, and while her ambitious, time-spanning, Fear Street trilogy giddily unpacks and twists all manner of horror ideas, finding a new way into a central love story is perhaps its most subversive concept. Janiak's 3 Fear Street films, rolling out on Netflix over the next 3 weeks, are based on R.L. Stine's horror novels of the same name and, like Stine's books, don't treat its teen audience or characters with kid gloves. That extends into both the gore level, high, and more on that to come, and the honesty with which it tackles even the non-scary stuff, like its love stories, including a queer relationship that endures across 3 entire films. At the heart of the trilogy is the relationship between Deena, Kiana Madeira, and Sam, Olivia Scott Welch, former girlfriends recently torn apart by Sam's meddling mom and Sam's move to Sunnyvale from the more downmarket Shadyside. Without spoiling what follows in the series, we'll say this: Deena and Sam's love story is key to the entire series, and emblematic of both the fresh spin Janiak puts on the stories and the classic sense of otherness, often found in the genre's greatest heroes. There's been a million slasher movies, Janiak said in a recent interview with IndieWire. We saw them in the 70s and 80s, and then the 90s reinvented it. Part of it was, how do we have a way into doing slashers but also making it feel like, oh, there's a reason we're revisiting this genre? For me, that was about trying to tell stories about people that normally would not have been highlighted, even though, obviously, they existed. There were queer people in the 90s and 80s and 70s. There were black people. There was a whole swath of people that are underrepresented in horror movies or die very quickly. That was an exciting part of the trilogy to me and built into why I wanted to make the movies. Janiak's films are populated by all sorts of young characters, including biracial Deena and her brother Josh, Benjamin Flores Jr., who might normally be the first ones killed in a more traditional slasher. Those are the people Janiak wanted to put center stage, a concept aided by the persistent sense that Shadyside's residents are somehow doomed, cursed, and otherwise not long for this world. They feel other for many reasons, and that was compelling to Janiak.